Hello, welcome back to the Black Feather and Ospreys Rugby Fancast. Good evening, lads.
Hello.
How are we both?
Very
All
good.
good, thank you. Yeah, I had a couple of 30th birthday parties that I attended on the weekend up in London. So it was a bit worse for wear yesterday, but I'm back and I'm fresh now. And yeah, re-energized by all the rugby on the weekend. I was really, really excited for it and it delivered. Yeah.
And I've had a day off and I've been out on a school day today for the first time, I think, in my entire working life. I was able to go out on a Monday and not feel, well, it did feel really weird. But yeah, strange feeling. This is what real people feel like.
Yeah, it
I,
is.
I could genuinely hear the excitement in your voice. You,
It
you
was
sound
brilliant.
like a kid who's bunked off school, who's mitched off.
I was having a coffee at 9:30 this morning just without a care in the world. So I'm thinking,
Yeah,
gosh, it's quiet in town today, isn't it? It was lovely.
It
yeah,
was so
yeah.
funny when you said, "Oh, I've been out on a school day." I'm like, and then I remembered it's like this is unusual for Mark because Mark normally wouldn't be able to take like a Monday off during term time. So welcome,
Yeah.
welcome to the other world of
The real
Rugby.
world, I know. I like it.
30th birthdays. 30th was a long, long way back for me. We're talking 2007.
Well, I've still got a year yet, so I'm the youngest in the year, or was one of the youngest in our year. So, if I was a week and a half, born a week and a half later, I would have been in the year below. So all my friends are now having their 30th
Older.
birthdays. Amy will be a good while ahead of me as well. So there's a period in the year where, I can call her a cougar, and it's
I
not wrong.
I'm a cougar in my house. I'm 18 months older than John. I'm 77, he's 79. And he reminds me of that. But as I remind him, I look younger, so it's okay. Um, yeah, 2007, I turned 30. That was the year I got together with John. Um,
2004 for
got
me.
engaged that year.
Hmm.
Yeah, 2007 was okay. But are you going to have a 30th birthday party? If so, where?
Yeah,
Like
good
London or
question.
here?
I'm not a big birthday party person, despite how much of an attention seeker I am. I, I don't like I don't like fuss. I don't mind
Okay, you
eyes
can have a
on
party
me.
without
I
fuss.
don't mind telling a story and leading a conversation, but I don't like fuss around me, and that always feels like a bit too much fuss. So yeah, but 30 is a big one, isn't it? So probably. I've got a
Yeah,
cousin as well who's 2 days older than me, and we've always considered each other twins. So we tend to
John's
do joint
birthday.
things. So if she's willing to organise and put the effort in and the legwork, I'll turn up on the day and have a few beers. Yeah, of course.
Listen, by that point in time, St Helens will be open.
Yeah.
We've got a venue.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Party
going for my
party pavilion.
50th. Party was great. You could
Maybe.
hire the party. There's a
When is your
stage
birthday,
there as
Ross?
well. You could have a really good, you know, good outing.
Are
August
you
time, end of August.
You're an August one, okay, yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
probably be
yeah.
recording our pre-season stuff maybe by that point. So we can have a pod party. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't drink, Sam. I hardly drink at all. Rod, you can have a few beers and get drunk on the pod, and me and Sam will just laugh at you.
Yeah, you
Works for
know.
me.
And yeah, happy, happy, happy days. Well, you had an eventful weekend. What did I do in the weekend? Nothing. It was great. I did all my running around on Friday because I had the day off. I went for
Mhm.
my dress fitting in Bridgend, um, looked around Cardiff, bought some, dare I say it, Christmas presents.
That's
Um,
far too many things for a weekend of doing nothing for me.
but I
When
did
I
it
do
all
a
on the
weekend of doing nothing, it means
Yeah.
nothing.
I did it all on the I did it all on the
Oh, on the
Friday.
Friday.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
So it was quite nice. I went with my
Setting
nails
yourself
done
up.
on Saturday morning, and then that was me for the day.
Yeah.
Um,
Bit of
so it was,
TLC.
but yeah, I've got
Yeah.
Halloween nails. They're very cool. I've got,
Hmm.
I don't know if you can see those.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
These eyes
You've got
bleeding from the eyes, ghosties, and other ghosties. So
not they're,
Nice.
they're not sperm then.
rude.
Oh, dear
Oh
me.
my God, talk about
You're not
lowering
going
the
to be able
tone.
to look at them
Oh,
now.
I can't now.
we're going
I
to have to
can't
start
now for those
censoring
that
our
are
podcast,
thinking,
don't we, Sue? God.
Oh my God, you're gonna have to put a trigger warning on this if you carry on.
For
But
anyone who
yeah,
doesn't watch on YouTube, I will, for your benefit, take a screenshot of that moment and put it on a story so everybody can see
I'll
the
send
little
you a picture of them.
spooky sperms.
They're blooming ghosts. That's what they are. They're ghosties, floating
Oh
ghosts.
dear.
Um, but URC came back on Friday. Gonna let
Woohoo.
you know, guys, I'm successful. John has got me 2 months of Premier Sports, hopefully a little bit longer. I was obviously, quite pleased. I got home on Friday and I was like, oh, I'm going to sit down and watch this now. And he went, you've obviously not checked your emails today. It's like, well, I've been out all day. I literally left the house at 10:30 and I got home at 8:30. So I was out for a good chunk of the day shopping. And yeah, it was in my emails to say that that's what he got me. So he's on the good list now.
Nice.
But results wise, then Mark's going to get his URC roundup.
You can start spinning around to do it this year as well.
Like,
Just to add something to it. Yeah.
like Pete Burns. But it was our first outing on Saturday down in Pretoria, down in Fortress Loftus Road against the Bulls. And wow, it was
What a
a
game.
loss,
A lot of
but,
points.
but
Yes, they were.
we scored 6 tries at altitude.
Hmm.
Lovely outing from Keelan and Keith from Neath. 2 other lovely tries from Jack Walsh and Morgan Morse. So for me, when we look at the scoreline, okay, we were 2 tries down, but a lot of good things to take away from that performance.
Hmm.
Harry Deves, what did they put in his cornflakes on Saturday morning? Because that boy was everywhere. Yellow scrum cap was everywhere. It was as though someone had put an Apple AirTag on that rugby ball and told him, keep a trace on that ball. He was all over the shop.
Yeah.
He is well rested, isn't he?
And got a gymnastics routine in the middle.
Oh, he did, yeah.
In the middle as well, didn't he?
I've got to say, for the Ospreys,
10 points.
Osprey supporters, club pod, James and everything, they did put a picture up and they were like caption this picture and it looked like he was doing a kung fu thing. So I was like, everybody was kung fu fighting. Harry Deves was fast as lightning because it was that got me.
I just imagine Deves the whole summer.
That.
Sorry, go on, Sam.
When he did that roll over the South African plane, it was like, what are you doing? Like, he looks as fit as a butcher's dog.
You know, I had visions over the summer. You know, when you have a dog on a lead and they just run, but they can't go anywhere, and their legs are still going. I've got visions of Deves having done that the entire summer. There's somebody's had him on a leash,
let him off.
And then all of a sudden, Saturday afternoon, whatever time it was, they just cut that leash, and he just went crazy. He was.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. So lots and lots of positives coming from that from me. I think we all knew that a win would be difficult to achieve, but bloody hell, I did not believe in that first half.
Yeah. It goes without saying, doesn't it? It's no small feat to go out to that part of the world, let alone at altitude, at Loftus, and to score that many points, to score 40 points. I can't imagine that many teams at any level would be able to sort of do that. I know it's first game of the season and they were missing a certain number of Springboks, but they still had quality throughout.
They still had 6 Springboks there.
Exactly. So it was really pleasing just to go out and put in a good performance. I don't think anyone was expecting a win. And I'm sort of viewing this South Africa tour as that we're targeting 2, maybe 3 points. If we get 3 points, that would be fantastic. So that result just makes that a whole lot more achievable and relieves the pressure for next week, doesn't it?
Yeah, we could have walked away from that with nothing, and we haven't.
I think that first half especially, I think we played with a perfect mix of flair and physicality. I thought as a team, we looked fit. you already said about some of the boys look lean. I thought Concede looks like he's been on the weights a bit over the summer as well. He looked very, very, they all looked as if they'd had a really good pre-season. They were all fit. They were raring to go, but they matched them physically as well. And I think that's no mean feat either. Go into the Bulls and match them physically. I think, some of the hits we were putting in defensively in the first half, but also there was a pep in our step going forward as well. The runs that Keith was making, the forwards carrying, just everybody looked really up for it. And I thought that first half was absolutely outstanding.
Tips has got to be happy with some of that defensive display. Like, there's some stuff that he's not going to be happy with, but I think overall, lots to take away from that with regards to our flair and attack. Yes, that in the second half they got away from us and their kind of class came out, but we did not do ourselves an injustice at all. We showed ourselves really, really, really well. And I'm really pleased with that result. Really, really pleased.
If you had asked me last season, halfway through last season, before sort of Boothie had left, if we went to South Africa and played the Bulls and scored 4 or 5 tries, how would we do that? I'd say, maybe 3 or 4 of those are rolling mauls or set piece based tries that we just turn up with some grunt and, grind out a result. But I think only one of our tries on the weekend was a forward, and that was Morse, wasn't it? And he's basically a back, the way he runs, the way he steps, and the angles that he can cut. So it just really shows how the Ospreys' approach to the game seems to have changed now with a good pre-season under their belt under Mark Jones's regime. That was really sort of distinct to me and stood out. A completely different approach to the game. Really spread them wide, didn't we? We made them scramble.
Yeah, and I think, for the likes of Keelan and Keith, who've kind of been overlooked by the Wales unit, really, they shoved their hands up on the weekend. When I was listening to the commentary, Tom Shanklin said that Keith reminded him of Scott Gibbs, because that was Scott Gibbs' modus of playing. I'm just going to go straight through the middle. I'm going to crash through it. And there's no harm in that at all whatsoever. It was nice to see Phil Cockner Senior come back.
I say he looks a different player, didn't he? I mean, every time we saw him last year, he looked ponderous. He didn't look particularly fit last season. He was on the front foot constantly. He looked fast. He just looked like a completely different player. Absolutely
lovely to see him come back.
And his partnership with Kieran, that worked well. Kieran, obviously, he's trying to explore different facets of his game, isn't he? And lean more into the passing side of things on occasion. And I think that worked the best that we've seen it in combination with Cockner Singer on the weekend. It was they were really enhancing each other's game.
Yeah, Bosch have to come back into the mix as well. That's a nice nice problem to have, then, having 3 players potentially to choose from every week who can interact with each other, but also can rotate a little bit as well as the season goes on. So I think last year Boshoff and Keith played pretty much the whole of the second half of the season exclusively. Bring Cockner Singer into the mix now as well, and all of a sudden we've got
got another option there.
Yeah. On that, I think you're right. If you're looking to play a tactically more defensive game where you're anticipating more heavy runners going down the middle channels, you'll be more inclined to go for the Keith Boshoff axis, because Boshoff, we saw him on occasion last season getting 15 out of 15 tackles completed, putting in real good, strong defensive shifts. But then maybe if we're looking to play a more expansive open game, that's when you bring Cockner Singer in. Yeah.
I did think our handling had improved on last year, because I know that was an area of frustration for us last year, was those errors of that basic was a little bit too much for me. We all know he's my favourite. I thought Dan had another good game in the air. I thought he really, really, really made his aerial presence known. And I think that's a good thing for us heading into Friday's game. And I really thought he acted like a bit of a general, the way that he was calling to the ref. I think at one point he was like, look, this is what he's doing. And it's nice to have that leadership and that fire in in that back line. So again, for me, thought he had a really, really good game. I think from 1 to 15 that went on that field, you could see how standards have gone up since last year. And if we can build on that throughout the season, then I'll be a happy little chappy with regards to that.
Moriarty had a fairly decent run out as well. Typically physical first encounter for him. He looked decent. Lovely to see Rhys Davies back after all his injury problems. Hopefully he'll have a nice run this season as well, and he fronted up as well. That bit of grunt and that little bit of nastiness and niggle that we need in that second row is what he brings. And him with Moriarty as well. When you're up against a big pack, I thought they fronted up really, really well.
Yeah, Rhys Davies, 17 out of 17 tackles. So putting a huge defensive shift on top of carrying the ball a few times. If he can build on that, that's one game into the season after a season that he spent most of the time on the sidelines. So we should see, further improvement on that again. And that's exactly what we need, is a bit of grunt, isn't it? But we didn't seem to rely on it.
No, it's a bit of a cliche, but a fit Rhys Davies could be like a new signing for us this season, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%, and definitely be punching for Wales spot if he continues to do so. It was really promising as well, wasn't it? Just how we, that second half was obviously not as good as the first.
You could see they were blowing due to altitude.
There was a drop off, wasn't there? But then we still managed to pick it up in those final minutes and get that last try at minute 85. So that shows a bit of heart as well, and a bit of ability to just hang on in there, bide your time, play the waiting game, and just take your opportunity when it's given to you. And I know it didn't bring us back within 7 points to get that second losing bonus point, but it just showed a little bit of guts, and as fans, we appreciate that, don't we? Because the one thing we don't want is just our team to roll over when they know the game's done, and to just sort of expose their belly and just
they didn't mentally fold. No. So it could have been quite easy to fold, and they didn't do that. They played to the last whistle, which was really, really pleasing to see. And I think looking at positivity afterwards that you had from Mark Jones and Derry, yes, it was a loss, but you could see that they were really pleased to go out there and get something. And I don't think they shied away in those post-match interviews either about what went wrong and what they need to do to build on to make it better. And I think for me, acknowledging that, taking the small wins when you can, but saying, look, we need to improve on this. They know what they've got to do. And for me, that gives me some comfort as well, in that they are coming together as a unit. They're being more cohesive. And other than saying I'm really proud.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't help us either that the Bulls were able to bring on the wing equivalent of Usain Bolt in the second half as well.
Exactly.
Just as we were tiring, they brought out one of the fastest players I think I've ever seen in a rugby pitch. He just looked a different level pace-wise.
Yeah. And our finishers did a good job, but their subs bench was probably just as hefty as their starting guys. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So what about lessons for next week then? Where did things, if they did go wrong, where are those areas, and how can we improve on them? There's definitely just an element of maintaining a cool head in that final quarter and just sticking to your guns and not losing discipline. There was definitely,
I was going to say the penalty count racked up a bit in the second half as we got tired. The
and defence around the edges of turnovers and edges of rucks and stuff were a bit looser, and there's a few more turnovers. I think we had more parity in the start of the game with Derry Lake on the pitch without the presence of Jack Morgan. We were really relying on him just being as disruptive as possible, and that petered out towards the end of the second half, didn't it? I think we also we showed a good attacking game, but that seemed to be the only dimension we were showing. It did feel a bit like the Prem or some of the other leagues around the world, where defence was a bit optional in that game from both sides, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Both teams just wanted to score tries. So I think maybe just having that nous and that that other layer to your game so that you can switch in a moment to, right, okay, now we just need to be really,
close it down.
close the game down, just shore things up, or just make any kind of tactical decision to just change it up and play the conditions and the momentum. So maybe just a bit of development. We'll see that as the season goes on, won't we?
Yeah, I think for me, we need to keep the penalty count down. We did let that get away from us, and we did get punished for that ever so slightly, especially Damon Fender's yellow card. Obviously, quick turnaround now to go down to Cape Town. I think the good thing is you're another week on with getting used to the heat and the altitude. I don't think altitude is as bad in Cape Town, is it? So hopefully that will settle it down. But for me, I think it's that penalty count. We need to be better. I think we started to show in that last quarter how tired we were. And that opened up questions around our defence as well. So for me, it's those two things. They look as though they're training quite well when I'm on social media and I'm seeing what they're posting. So they seem to be doing a fair bit of training and gym work and acclimatisation. So we'll see how we get on Friday. What do you think were the takeaways from Saturday, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, overwhelmingly positive. Like David Lake said in his interview after the game, he was really positive about the performance, but with a tinge of disappointment that maybe we didn't win the game. He scored 6 tries away from home. You'd expect to win that game as well.
Normally it's a win, isn't it? But I think 40 points.
But I think, if we'd played that game at this time last season, then we may have still conceded the 9 tries, but without the 6 try bonus point that we had ourselves or whatever. So I think, there are bound to be tweaks this weekend, I think, because there'll be some tired bodies after that game last weekend. And as you say, the fast turnaround again, you'd expect maybe Jack to come back in, Boshoff maybe to come in, a couple of changes in the pack maybe as well. They've got to freshen things up a little bit. But I think, ultimately, we wouldn't have expected. I mean, I know I was a bit bullish last week and said, we could win this game. But, I think that was early season bravado. We're all taking a point from, if somebody had offered us a point before the game, we would have all taken that. So I think it's a job done in respect to that, and move on to next weekend. But as we'll see, the Stormers have made a tasty start to the season as well. So they're going to be a tough proposition as well this weekend.
Yeah. And I think to summarise, what's really promising about that, exactly what you said, Mark. It was a good performance, but there was also opportunities out there that we didn't take. So if we can go out and score, how many tries was it? 6 tries, and also have opportunities that we didn't take, then we're building here, and you can see the potential for growth, and that's what's really pleasing, isn't it? We know where our points to improve are, and we can see the clear sort of roadmap as to how the boys can do that or are going to do that. So really, really excited about the season ahead, actually, after that performance. It was certainly a better start to the season than last year, wasn't it?
Can we now finally put that Dragons defeat at the start of last season to bed? Should we never ever mention that again?
Until we beat them in Rodney Parade this year.
Yeah, Rod's not going to.
I'm still going to be traumatized by it.
He's not going to exercise that demon. Before we go there and we win. So looking forward to Friday. It's an early kickoff for us then at 6 o'clock on Friday evening, and we have, as I said, we're heading down to Cape Town to play the Stormers. Now we will be getting on to our URC roundup, but I think it is worth mentioning that on the weekend on Friday, Stormers did 0 Leinster, 35-0. Now, was not expecting that after the first half, because obviously they only went into the second half 6-0 up. But then within that second half, they really turned the screw and scored 4 pretty nice tries. I was not expecting that result from Leinster. I'm not going to lie, I did have a bit of shameful joy, bit of schadenfreude watching that. I think you said earlier on in it, Rod, whoever's got Leinster this weekend, prepare for the wrath of them. Obviously, Stormers are going to be quite buoyed into going against us on Friday now after that, because that is quite a big scalp to take at, 0 points. How are we feeling about Friday night off the back of our performance? Because I think our confidence is going to be pretty good, as is theirs.
Well, we have the underdog benefit, which always helps our game. I think a big question is how will the Stormers players deal with the psychology of doing what they did last weekend and then going
And
into
repeating it.
objectively weaker opposition the week after? Are they going to be, on their high horses, thinking that this is going to be an easy 5 points for them and slip up as a result? That can easily happen. So there's potential there for an opportunity for us to, play our game and not just take a drum in like Leinster did and actually contribute. I certainly think we can go out there and put in a better performance than Leinster did. We can go out there and we can be expecting to get 2, 3, hopefully 4 tries and get that bonus point. That's not unrealistic. I'm baffled by that result and how it happened. First week of the URC, there's always upsets. There's always crazy things that go on, and that was it.
I just wonder if the Stormers will have seen us play now as well. I think we probably caught the Bulls a little bit by surprise with our style of play last weekend. I don't think they expected us to come out and throw the ball around quite the way we did in that first half. They looked a bit rattled, I think, by that. The Stormers will have seen that performance, obviously, last week. We'll have more of an expectation of how we're going to play, and we'll be able to prepare for that. They're going to be equally as physical as the Bulls. I don't think they've got as much flair maybe in attack as the Bulls, but I think the pack is probably stronger potentially. So we're going to have to front up front. But as Rod said, we didn't expect to take anything from the Bulls game. So why not double up and get another point out of this one and see where we go from there?
Yeah. I'm all in all, then the same as I said last week, do I think we're going to win? No. And that's not me being negative. That's me being realistic. Do I think we can come away with some bonus points? Yes, I do. I strongly believe that. Talking of Jack, I did see something on the weekend that somebody saw him in Wales over the weekend that he didn't fly out on Friday. So do we know if he flew out on Friday or?
Did they say something in commentary in the weekend that he was following the squad out later, that he was having more of a rest at home first? I'm sure that was mentioned in commentary.
I thought that he was flying out, and I'm sure the commentary said that he was on his way out there. So whether he's gone out early this week, I've tried to have a little bit of a nose on socials and see like players' pictures and stuff. And to be fair, he's not normally on their profiles, if I'm being honest, but you can sometimes spot him in the background, but I haven't seen him. But
honestly, though, even if he was out there, I'd be inclined to stick with the same back row just because
give him a break.
They give him a break, but also they put in such a good performance that they deserve the opportunity to just see this little mini tour through. I wouldn't be annoyed by that.
No, not me at all. I mean, Deeves did nothing wrong. I mean, Deeves was outstanding on Saturday, so for him to be dropped next week would be
kick in the
teeth for him as well. Let him go. Yeah.
Deeves looked like a different animal. Like when he went on that break, I really thought he was going to score a try. I do think if he'd had a little bit more engine, but boy did he go. And he was blowing after that, but blowing in a good way. I'm really impressed. Like for me, he was my man of the match on
100%.
on Saturday. Like
definitely.
1,000,000%.
Everywhere. And
so
that handoff that he did down the wing. It takes a lot of confidence to do that, and it takes a lot of skill as well as a shorter person to be able to actually pull that off as well. It's all about timing. When you haven't got the reach, it's about timing. It's pure timing, isn't it? Because if they get their fingertips on you, they've got the reach on you. but the confidence to just go for it and then
Do you know
open up,
what
get the offload.
I
Lovely.
loved? Knowing he was like offside already, and he
Yeah.
tackled that player, and he was like, the ref was like, "No, you can't do that." And the way he just stood up and went, "What?" It
Yeah.
was like, you know what you did. You absolutely know what you did. And he was just like, "What's
It
wrong
is
with
what
you?
it is, mate.
What have I done?" Like, so I do love that. But fingers crossed. I'm working in the office on Friday, in Cardiff, so I am potentially going to ask if I can take my lunch hour at the end, and finish at like 4:30. So I'm back. Because the last couple of times I've worked in Cardiff, it's taken me an hour and a half to get home, and I don't get home till 7:15, which means that's the first half gone for me. So I might speak nice to my manager and be like, "Hi, can I finish at 4:30, please? Thank you." Um,
I'll be on
and
radio silence Friday night, definitely. So don't expect anything on socials or WhatsApp or anything
that's okay.
for at
That's
least
okay.
probably an hour. I'll try and catch up as much as I can, but I'm definitely going to be on catch up.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. But URC roundup then. Mark's been a busy boy, so he's not managed to watch everything, but I'm assuming he's got our roundup results.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we touched on the first one already. So the weekend kicked off with an unexpected result. I think every single podcast I listened to last week were talking about, oh, Leinster could put an A and a B team in this league, and both would probably still win it. Clearly not. So we had a Leinster kind of, I don't know what to call them, a Leinster B plus team. They weren't an entire second team. There were some big names in there. But yeah, got put to the sword big time by the Stormers. As you say, Sam, close going into the half. But Leinster's discipline went in the second half. Stormers took advantage really when Leinster were down to 13 for a period in the second half. I think 2 of their tries in the second half came in that period. Stormers looked impressive, and Leinster finally looked fallible. Not saying they're going to be like that the entire season, but it gives us a little bit of hope, or gives everybody in the league a little bit of hope, doesn't it, to see Leinster lose in that fashion and to get nilled. I mean, when was the last time Leinster failed to score a point in a game? I would love to know, but it must be years, I would imagine.
Yeah, and Prendergast looked rocked, didn't he? He looked short of confidence, especially in that second half when they you could see slowly the wave of realization going over the entire team that, Christ, we're not going to score a point
We fucked this.
Yeah, and I think,
but you know
the young
what?
lad, bless him, found himself responsible, or felt that he was.
I think it's good for them. I think it'll give them some humility.
It's good for them. It's good for the league. It's good for rugby.
Yeah.
It's good for rugby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it goes to show, you can throw as much money as something, but like it is in reality going to get you 99% of the way there, but it doesn't make you indestructible.
No. And I'll use this opportunity to trail my game of the week for week 2, which is the Bulls Leinster. Bulls on a high, obviously, after scoring 9 tries against us. Leinster will have a lot of soul searching to do over the week this week, and will be wanting to put a big performance in. So that could potentially be very, very, very tasty next weekend. So that's undoubtedly, for me, the game of week 2, I reckon, anyway. Moving back to week 1, the Dragons, I really thought there was going to be a different narrative for the Dragons at one point on Friday. They were in the game. Ulster just pulled away in the last quarter again. Dragons did the same as they did for a bulk of last season, to be honest. And then what will be the most disappointing aspect for them is that in those kind of games, they need to pick up the losing bonus points, and they couldn't get that 4th try to even get the 1 point out of the game. So they played well. I was impressed with them, certainly for an hour again. They were in the game. They played some nice rugby. They certainly had more platform up front than they did last season, as we knew they would with all the signings that they've made. But ultimately, the result was the same as the majority of last season, which is such a disappointment.
Yeah. And worst of all, they took a couple of injuries in the game as well. So, when you don't even claim a point and you lose a couple of your starters, it's just a bad day all in, isn't it? Elliot D looked to go off with a shoulder injury.
Nasty.
and I can't remember who the second one was, but there was somebody else as well. It's really unfortunate, isn't it? I thought they were going to do something after that start. One of the quickest tries in
Well
Off the
done,
US
win,
little
right? Yeah,
boy.
incredible.
if not the fastest. And I feel like they did that a couple of times last season, didn't they? Scoring tries within the first couple of minutes off kickoff, something like that, and get that early lead. It's just holding on to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
we
from
didn't do
Ulster's,
that this week, so I'm not
yeah.
preaching, but
I mean, from Ulster's perspective, they were let loose, I think, on Friday night as well. They were running the ball from absolutely anywhere and everywhere.
yeah, yeah,
If they'd been more clinical, they could have had more points on the board as well. But I think that's a sign of how they're looking to play this year as well.
yeah.
Which is good for the league. I think. If you think about the games across the board this weekend, there's been a lot of expansive rugby played. Ulster, to be fair, played well. Backs especially look tasty, and maybe a better season to come for them as well.
Their backline's huge with Stockdale
Yeah,
and Doak and Christ, I don't know all their names. Timoney as well. They've got a massive backline. All their centres and wingers are like 6'5" plus. They looked really big. But that being said, so did the Dragons with their new signings and some of their players bulking up and Big Mac and all those boys. They looked like they got a bit more heft. I'll give them that. They were fronting up physically on occasion. It's just all the other aspects of the game.
Yeah, it would have been frustrating, I think, for Dragons fans to play the way they did for a good hour of that game and to come away with no points at all is disappointing. But hey ho, that seems to be the Dragons' way. Hopefully, when they get back home again, they can start picking up a few points at Rodney Parade this season anyway. Two games that I didn't see next. So Glasgow 35, Sharks 19, 5 tries for Glasgow. I'm presuming a fairly straightforward game. I think, Glasgow at home are always a tough proposition. Again, Sharks will be disappointed to not come away with a point. Maybe, teams are looking for these bonus points away from home at the bigger teams, aren't they? So they'll be disappointed to not get anything out of that game. But a solid start for Glasgow. I can't say much about it because I didn't see it. And then the second game that I didn't see was Zebra 31, Edinburgh 28. Good start for Zebra. Finishing, carrying on where they left off really last season. They had a really, really solid year last year. I think the fear was that they would maybe drop off and, revert back to type this year and be the whipping boys with Dragons maybe possibly at the bottom. To take down Edinburgh, first game of the season, worrying for Edinburgh. I know they left with 2 bonus points, a 4-try bonus and a losing bonus point. But, if they've got any aspirations of getting playoffs this season, then these are the games they need to win. Zebra, let's hope that they are competitive as they were last year, and certainly from this first game, it seems like that they will be. Moving on to the Scarlets against Munster. I think Scarlets were obviously up for this game. They had their march and everything, which we'll talk about later before the game started. So there was a lot of heat, a lot of energy prior to the game. But the Scarlets couldn't actually bring that energy onto the pitch, although it was a really lackluster start for them in this game. Munster sort of, won the game quite early on. Scarlets did come back into it as the game went on, but I thought Munster had a lot of defensive problems last year. They looked very, very solid defensively. Scarlets really struggled to trouble them at all, really, in that first half, especially. Munster looked very, very solid. I think they're going to be a tough proposition again. I think the change of coaching team looks like they've been working hard over the summer in that physicality and defence side of it with Munster, and they scored some nice tries as well. No points for Scarlets at all at home in that first game of the season. That'll be a disappointment.
I missed that one, Mark. I would usually try and watch all the Welsh regions game, but I've missed that one. Is it worth me going back and watching it? Will it bring me joy?
Well, the Scarlets lost, so yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the Scarlets backline and you think, how are they not creating more at home, especially in the first half? They were very, very blunt. And yes, Munster's defence was a step up from where they were last season. And they did score some nice tries, Scarlets, in the second half, but they looked quite blunt. They looked short of ideas, which is surprising when you consider the talent in that backline and, somebody like Hawkins coming into it this year as well. Expected more really from them, especially at home and especially with everything going on at the moment. I thought they would.
Did make me wonder about them going on to a cup run and playing within the cup, because I just thought if you continue in this vein of form, you're really going to struggle.
Yeah.
In that cup run. Can't say it doesn't please me, but on the other hand, I do want to see the Welsh regions doing well within the cup. But looking at that at the moment and looking who they've got, I can't see what they're going to do unless they pull something special out of the bag. There didn't seem to be any. You're right, very blunt. There was just no magic there, no dazzle, no sort of like spark really for me when I was watching. And that's not what I expect to see sometimes when I'm watching them with that back line.
No.
I would have expected more, but they did look a little bit dejected, didn't they?
So they've signed Hawkins as a 10-12, haven't they?
Yeah.
How did that dynamic work with him and Costello on the pitch then? Were they both competing, trying to be the sort of playmaker, or did Hawkins fall
I think
into
Costello
that
was
more?
still the man at 10. Costello had some nice touches. He made a
Yeah.
nice break for the Scarlets' first try. I think it was towards the end of the first half, wasn't it? Costello looked all right, to be fair, but they just didn't get the back line going. I suppose there's new combinations to bed in. I suppose if, with Costello, Hawkins in that axis, they could have bed that in a little bit, but didn't have that creativity.
Listening to the commentary, though, I did laugh because they were trying to find things to talk about Scarlets. And one of the things that they spent about 2-3 minutes talking about was how you say his last name, whether it's Costello, whether it's Costello or
Costello.
And apparently it's Costello is the correct spelling. And they asked Dwayne Peel, and they were like, Dwayne, how, which is the correct way to say his surname? And he went, I don't know, mate, I just call him Costi. And it was like, okay.
It would have been an Italian surname, wouldn't it? Obviously. Yeah. And that would be Costello, wouldn't it? So
yeah.
But if he walks around Finetti calling himself Costello, then he's gonna get shit ripped out of him, if he does.
But it's certainly not Costello, is it? The canter to it is wrong. It's Costello.
But it was
anyway,
it was.
I won't tell him
how
to say his own name.
No, do you know what I mean? But that was quite funny. But
but disappointing start for the Scarlets.
I do worry for them. I hope they start firing a little bit.
Yeah, they would have targeted that as a big game, to kickstart their season,
get something from,
especially with the whole landscape of Welsh rugby at the moment. They were looking for a nice positive start, and very, very disappointing. On the flip side of that, Cardiff did start with a win, despite Ben Thomas's sending off. They beat the Lions by 33 points to 20, scoring 5 tries. The Lions were disappointed, really, especially with Cardiff down to 14. Thought they would have, been able to cause them a few more problems. But Cardiff were reasonably comfortable, I think, in getting that win, 5 tries to 2. I mean, I think Ben Thomas with his red card, I've seen again this weekend so many different interpretations on head-to-head contact or shoulder-to-head contact or whatever it is across the games. Some have been not looked at at all. Some have not given any card at all. Some have been yellow and upgraded to red. Some have been straight red.
We was lucky.
I think lucky, but I think it was sensible interpretation of it, because he couldn't have got any lower. And to penalise someone for that, to me, is insane, because he's not been reckless.
Yeah.
So
sorry, though, Mark. What were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Thomas's challenge wasn't great. Don't get me wrong, when it was a shoulder to the head, but just the different interpretations of that law, again, they're going to cause frustration and consternation, I think, across matches from weekend to weekend, until they can get some sort of consistency in those decisions, I think. But the problem is, I don't think anybody knows quite what the law is anymore, really, and what warrants that yellow. I think more and more referees seem to be going towards a yellow with a review, and they're sort of bottling the red card call immediately, which makes sense, I suppose. But it's just annoying. It's one of those annoying.
I think they're bottling making a decision full stop, and when you're looking at it. I did think that the discussion between the ref and the TMO in our game was really good, with how we heard them explain what was going on. Before we move on, I'm not sure whether it was in the Cardiff commentary or whether it was the Scarlets commentary, but one of them really, really annoyed me in that one of the commentators was like, "Oh, that's the problem in Wales. We don't have a 10."
Mm.
And Edwards, fuck my life, what like?
Yeah.
The problem is we've tried to shoehorn someone who doesn't play 10 for his club into playing 10 for his country. It's unfair to the likes of Dan Edwards to say we haven't got a 10. We have got 10s,
Yeah.
they just need more exposure.
And I tell you what, if Joe Hawkins is the next bloody experiment of trying to smush somebody into a 10 jersey who has not spent, their entire playing career there, then I'm going to be really angry about that because
Yeah.
Gonna write your MP.
it's a mentality though, isn't it? Being a fly off is a mentality. You can have the physical attributes, but if you haven't got the mentality of a 10, if you haven't got the sort of the ability to scold your teammates and boss people about, then it's probably not for you. And I don't know if I've seen that from Joe Hawkins. So if they try and smush him into that jersey now, and
It's gonna
we
be
spend
annoying.
another 2 years of just like jumping between players with no consistency, it's gonna be infuriating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see Hawkins playing many games at 10 for Llanelli. They've obviously, tied their mass to the how should we say it, Costello this
Costello.
season. So he's their man at 10, isn't he? He sort of
But what we
stays.
know about alignment in the Welsh game is that it doesn't matter what any of
Yeah,
the
true.
regions are doing because
Who
as soon as it
cares?
goes up the chain to the WRU level, then they do whatever they want.
Sorry,
Uh,
I was just using logical
see,
thinking there, and I
yeah,
forgot
Don't
that
be
that goes out the
logical.
none of
window.
that.
Sorry. Yeah, of course, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
One more game then from the weekend. My beloved second team, Connacht, started the season well. 4-try win over Benetton. I hadn't really thought in the build up to this game just how many players Benetton would be missing to the Argentinian national squad. So they were quite short in terms of their first team. Connacht were solid, nothing special really. They got the bonus try win they would be looking for. Probably be disappointed they put a few more points on the board. They left quite a lot out there. But solid start to them, and the Scarlets will not find that an easy place to go in week 2 either. Scarlets up against it really. If Connacht at home, not an easy place to go. If the Scarlets lose over there as well, then all of a sudden pressure's on a bit. But Connacht will be mid-table. I would have thought again they'll be sort of on the edges of the playoffs possibly. They looked okay, but nothing special really this weekend. But a solid win for them as well. But a really entertaining first weekend. I think there's a lot of really positive rugby played. A lot of teams looking to throw the ball around, and nice weekend of rugby to start the season.
Yeah. Amazing. So that is our URC roundup. We've obviously talked ahead of what Ospreys are up to, but does anybody have any?
Do we want to pick a team? Because I published a team this week, but it was just me picking it. And I reckon, as part of every episode, we should try and pick a team.
You want to throw that on me now when I'm not prepared?
Well, we can work through it together live.
Go on then.
So, I mean, the best way to approach it will just be: do you think there are going to be any changes from the team that we saw last week next week?
I think there have to be some forward changes, probably, just in terms of the effort that was put in at altitude last week, possibly.
So front row last week, just to remind everyone, we had Garen Phillips, Lake, and Botha in the front row. Then in the second row, we had Davis and Fender. And then across the back row, Moriarty on the blind side, Deves on the open side, and Morse at 8.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon's in? Who's out?
I think Ratty comes in. Whether that's as second row or at 6, I'm not sure. Depends on Moriarty's fitness, maybe over the how he sort of off season. He should be fit and ready to go, but whether he's at his age, dare I say, fit to play 2 games at sort of altitude and then following up the following week at 6, so possibly Ratty at 6 for Moriarty.
Ratty did look good when he came on for his 50th. Congratulations, James boy.
Yes, yeah, and obviously Moriarty didn't have much to do throughout the summer or last season. And Ratty was out in Japan, but that's probably a beneficial thing for Ratty, isn't it? He's a bit more warmed up, he's a bit more game ready. Yeah, he's done the whole high humidity, high heat stuff out in Japan. He's probably fitter than he's been before. Might have lost a
Maybe.
couple of kilos, and it looked like it. Okay, so who should we bring him in for then? If we've got Davis and Fender at lock, or the other option is bringing him in at 6.
I'd probably bring him in
I'd
at
say,
6 for Moriarty myself.
Yeah.
yeah. Thing
And
is,
then
you could
bring
then
in
shift
Moriarty as an
Moriarty
impact.
to 8, but yeah, maybe coming on as an impact would be a better
Yeah.
use of his physicality. Um, okay, I'll go for that. Let's put Ratty in, and then give in Moriarty the same bench spot that Ratty had last week.
Yeah.
Um, any other changes in the pack then? I guess a big question is whether Gareth Thomas is fit, because we know that he's gone out
Mm,
there and he's been in the training photos in bibs and out of bibs. So
yeah.
he's clearly close to match fitness. Do we see him coming in this week? I think the scrum last week was one of the areas of concern, to be honest. We
Mm,
put in a couple of good shoves, but for the large part we were giving away scrum pens, weren't we?
yeah. I think Bota plays. I don't think you can take Bota out to that
He's not
starting
he's not an
team
off the
against the
bench player
Stormers.
anyway, is he? No.
No, and against the Stormers as well, they're going to be a formidable front row as well. So I can't
Yeah.
see him not playing. I think Dewi the same. I can't see him not starting next week again. So as
Yeah.
you say, if Gartom is fit, maybe for Garen Phillips possibly at 1.
Okay.
Did Boshoff travel out with him? I think he did, didn't he? So I would potentially be tempted to give him a run out.
Yeah, despite Big Phil having a really, really good game last week, maybe that defensive now of Boshoff at 13.
I would be tempted to get him in just purely because of his defence and just to have a comparison of.
Mhm.
I think if we're going to try something, try it now when we're not expecting a win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
give him the run out and see how he's done, how his pre-season's gone, and how he fares.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Did
Okay.
Hardy travel? So obviously he wasn't on the bench last week.
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought so. I haven't seen any photos of him.
No.
Plus, you'd suspect if he was fit, he would have been on the bench instead of Lukey Dye,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the other change. I thought maybe they'd sort of rotate him and Ruben on this tour to give
Yeah.
them both a run out.
But if he's not,
travel,
I think
then
we stick
possibly
with
not.
Ruben, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. There's a few changes in there.
I don't think there'll be
Um,
wholesale changes. I think, we need to go strong again.
mhm.
It's just bringing in just a few of those players just to sort of freshen
Yeah, I
things up.
can't think what else I would tinker with if I'm being honest.
Yeah, yeah. I'd leave the back three the same, because they just work well together, don't they?
Yeah. Just
They
leave them the
seem to
same
be
for the whole
really
season.
clicking.
Just play them every
Obviously,
game. That's fine.
yeah. On the bench, we've got Ethan Lewis. Is Lewis Lloyd out there? Evan Daniels not, is he? Evan Daniels
No.
working back from injury. Um,
Well, Lewis only played 11, 12 minutes last week, so you would suspect
yeah,
he'd be on the bench again.
on the
Yeah.
bench again.
Yeah.
Um,
We only brought 3
previous.
on from our bench, didn't we? We didn't bring many. Did we only bring 3 on, or
No,
am I imagining it?
everybody came on. Some of them are quite late.
Who am I imagining then? Am I losing
Yeah,
the
there
plot?
was something. Was it Wales Online had got their stats wrong on that one, that they only had 3 subs coming on for us, but everybody came on. The bench was emptied.
I'm losing the plot.
But I think Wales
So
Online wasn't right.
if we're promoting Gareth Thomas to the starting tight end position, are we putting Garin on the bench then instead of Steph Thomas?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Reece Henry still on the bench.
Yeah.
I think he played well when he came on. Then we've got Sutton in the 19 jersey. What other options have we got at lock that are out there that have travelled? Did Ryan Smith travel?
No, I don't think he did.
No, he's out for the first 3-4 games. I think he's out.
Okay. Well, Sutton had a good game when he came on as well, so we can stick with Sutton.
We'll keep him there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who. Oh, Lukey Dye was number 9.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be sticking with him as well.
And then Florence and Houston. Florence looked tidy when he came on. I thought he He did okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. And this is the season for him to kick off, really. He's been tinkering around the edges a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Uh,
I thought he did pretty well coming on, I thought.
okay. And then who did we have as our
Harry Houston was
Harry
23.
Houston, of course. Probably stick with that again then, is it? So not many changes. Change in the front row. Just a switch from the bench in the back row with Ratty coming on to start, and then given the chance for Moriarty to show his worth as an impact player.
It's hard to know
And
without
then
knowing who's actually travelled, isn't it? And there's something, if we
yeah,
can make an appeal to the Ospreys, it'd be nice if they did do
release a
like a
travel
team
list.
and actually release the travel list.
yes,
Just for
or
us
an
to know
injury
who's out
list,
there.
one or the
Just,
other.
yeah, just to save the speculation really of, oh, is so and so there, so and so there. If we know categorically they haven't travelled with the team, then we can write that off.
Yeah, we know who's there.
For the sake of the pod,
Okay.
Ospreys, please.
Thank you very much,
Okay,
guys. That
cool.
was good. We will
Well,
put
you
that
can
out there on our
publish that.
socials. And
Um,
then I can't cop all the flack for any stupid decisions that we made because we all did it together.
exactly. And if anybody gives you any flack, point them in my direction. I'm a perimenopausal woman. I'm not putting up with shit anymore. So news-wise, couple of things. Congratulations to the Red Roses for winning the Women's Rugby World Cup. Fantastic record-breaking attendance. I really enjoyed this World Cup. I really, really have. I've enjoyed seeing some of the players come through. I'm gutted for the Canadians after all the crowdfunding and everything that they did to get there. But I think they're just a slick professional unit, aren't they? The Red Roses. So
Yeah.
I
really enjoyed the game Saturday, to be fair. I thought
I did.
England were outstanding. I mean, I think Canada, it was said in the post-match, maybe their final was the All Blacks in the Black Ferns rather in the semis. I think that took an awful lot out of them. But I thought, early doors, I thought, they're going to cause a few problems here. And then England just clicked a few gears up. I think their physicality showed by the end in England. Their pack looked strong.
It really, really did. And they looked fantastic. So for me, I think that's gone a long, long way to engaging girls, ladies, women to engage with rugby and think, actually, do you know what? I could have a crack at this. I could have a play of this. So if anything, I think it's been a massive PR thing for women's rugby, incredibly successful. So well done to all those involved in organising that. I do think they did deserve like a bus tour across London rather than what they had as a celebration. But I think potentially more celebrations may be coming. So well done, ladies. Very much looking forward to you getting back into the PWR, which is starting end of October. So I'll certainly be watching more of that than I did last year because I kind of dipped in and out of that. The other big thing, Welsh Rugby Union's online consultation came to an end on Friday. I'm sorry, you're all probably sick of me now being called by Radio Wales to go on and blabber my gums and give an opinion. But hey ho,
we have been joking with Sam. We're going to add it. We're going to add a tagline to the podcast, the Black Leather Podcast, featuring Sam from BBC Wales. We're going to.
I did think it was very funny that when they rang me, they were like, "Oh, what do you think about Jack Morgan?" And I was, "Listen, my podcast, we tweet that live from the session." Yeah. We broke that.
Appreciated that.
Literally could not let that pass. We've had some success with Ross Moriarty retweeting us this week. We're now up to 149 subscribers on YouTube. So, we're building quite nicely as a pod. And as I said, you continue listening, we'll continue doing. The other thing that happened on the weekend, bless them, was the Scarlets walk march from the centre of town to the stadium. I very much love the shithousery that took place with people AIing reform banners and Welsh and British flags in. To the point that some people got really offended and were like, I was there, that didn't happen. It's like, mate, like literally people are taking the piss. But in all fairness, good on them.
Yeah.
You know, good for you. Do what you've got to do, guys. Do you know what I mean? Just remember that Ammo Heed is for all of Wales. It's not just for you down there. But that kind of leads me to my random, really, which is not really a random, but is kind of bringing back something that we did last year and something that I mentioned last week. And I kind of explain my thinking around this. Lance Bradley tweeted last week that he'd gone and watched sport somewhere and someone got sent off and the DJ played All By Myself as they were walking off. And he was like, what shithousery have you seen that you've really, really enjoyed? Ospreys got involved in a bit of shithousery this weekend by posting a picture of Munster training at St Helens before their game with the Scarlets. That.
Didn't they call them our friends or something?
Our friends from across.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever called anyone at the Scarlets our friends, have they?
Frenemies are best, and we, you know, keep your friends close, your enemies even closer. I'm surprised they didn't put an injection in about that, if I'm being honest. But, you know, there's just me being controversial. And then I suppose the other thing really that has kind of brought shithousery and chants to the forefront of my mind is, have you watched any of the Ryder Cup over the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely glued to it.
Fuck me, those European fans were epic.
Oh, the American fans were just awful.
They can't chant.
Unbelievable.
They can't chant.
So
A, they're horrific. B, they just have got no chance other than USA, USA. Whereas some of the chants that really impressed me was there was the shoe up if you're 5 points up, shoe up if you're 5 points up. Then when the Yanks started being quiet, then when they realised they were going to lose, it was the is this a library? Is this a library? Did
you see the video of the actual players though last night saying, "Are you watching
Donald Trump?"
That was the actual players recording it.
And they did that. There was just so many of them. They dressed up as minions. They dressed up as Banana Man because obviously Banana Man was in blue and yellow, like the European flag.
What's now thinking, Banana Man? What are you on
Banana
about?
Man.
There's another age issue here.
Acacia Avenue. No, Rod's looking blank. Do you not remember?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Sorry, Banana Man.
Yeah, Banana Man.
Yes, I do.
Not really.
No.
In from the Dandy
cartoon. No, it wasn't the Dandy.
There was a cartoon Banana Man. He was like a superhero.
The same people who did Super Ted.
Yeah, so that's from the Dandy. I'm making you guys look young now.
It wasn't when we were kids, anyway. It was just a cartoon.
It wasn't when I was a kid.
No,
it's from the Dandy comics with Desperate Dan. I swear to God, because my grandparents used to get them for me all the time growing up, and the Banana Man's in there.
Right, we're gonna have to Google this now.
It is. Well, we can't leave too
I think this while we're just.
There we go. It's from the Dandy.
Well, I don't remember him being in the Dandy. I remember the cartoon on telly.
They dressed up as Banana Man. They dressed up as minions. They did like a Baby Shark chant. And I just thought it was really, really funny because loads of Americans have been on TikTok being like, you're not going to beat us. Then there was these 2 dickheads from Miami who were like, come and fight us. We're going to beat you. Blah, blah, blah. And you know, the funniest comment that I saw on TikTok replying to these guys who were like, we'll fight you, was like, mate, you can't even swear properly. If we said the C word, you would just faint. I was like, yes, it's so true. We just need to swear at you and you would not be rugby. So shithousery, we need some chants back. We need more. I loved the brass band last year. I loved when they played the Death March. I loved when they played Jaws. I loved it when they did the Lawrence and Hardy. Loved that. So, are we bringing shithousery back and chanting to the terrace? If we are, I will
Well,
come
that's
over
the thing,
and
isn't
stand
it?
by you.
It's more conducive to that sort of behavior in the sort of boiler room of a terrace, isn't it? Whenever you try to get something like that started in the Liberty, it just didn't work. I had a few embarrassing moments where I sang the full first verse of some like anthem, and then nobody joined in.
Nobody joined in.
So yeah, hopefully we can get a bit more started. I'd be keen for that.
I think
Yeah,
the band
I'll
helps
keep
with that as
trying.
well. I think the band helps with that as well because they can instantly react to things as well.
Yes,
I
yeah.
think, as I think I've mentioned on the pod before, my other love is baseball in terms of sport. I'm wearing my Cardinals jersey today after another absolutely mediocre season. But I was lucky enough. I've talked to the Cardinals organist because if you're not aware in baseball,
yeah,
the
I
organist
love
is
it.
actually up in the stand and he plays there and then. Becky thought it was just a tape, sort of. They thought it was just another
Yeah.
tape, but the guy's actually sat there. So Jeremy Boyer, the Cardinals organist, I was lucky enough to talk to him, and he said he does shithousery in games because somebody strikes out or whatever, or there's a player that reacts badly to things. He will play a song that he knows will wind them up.
I love it.
So having a band there, they can actually just play something on the spot.
Yeah,
That reacts to what actually happens there and then. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my rando this week is not to you two, but to the people who are listening, to the people who are watching. I want your chance.
Yeah.
I want your chance. I want new chance.
Yeah,
If
as long as we don't
going,
start EOing, because that stuff drives me crazy,
do
the
that.
EOing. Do
I
you?
love
Oh, it
that.
drives me
Yeah.
nuts. And I know that's exactly what it's meant to do. It's supposed to get in the opposition's heads and the fans' heads and trigger them, but it
I love
really
it.
doesn't.
Do you know what's my favourite ever chant though? And it's more of a football one. The Swans used to do this a lot. Was what's it like? What's it like? What's it like to be a twat? And there's just something about that word that just
I love the word
sounds
twat.
horrible anyway. And you put it in a chant, and it just sounds a bit nasty.
The other one that I like
it makes me laugh every time.
At the Ryder Club was, can we play you? Can we play you? Can we play you every week? I just thought that was quite funny. So that's my challenge to all you guys out there who are watching and listening. I want some new charts, new chants. You can do it around the like Baby Shark. You can do it. My love has got no money. Whatever. I'm sure you can get something in around that.
Maybe we need to repost the ones we came up with last year. I think you put them out, Rod, didn't you, last year as they were coming in? So we don't get lots of repetitions of stuff that we had last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can dig those out and reshare them.
Keelan Giles, Keelan Giles, Keelan Giles, Keelan Giles.
What would be good would be to have, for when we move into St. Helens, some sort of song equivalent to the old Swansea City song down on the Vetch Field. Something like that about, coming home to St. Helens.
To St. Helens.
And maybe something temporary for this year for the brewery, just to, harness that energy. Yeah. Maybe we need to get in touch with some Ravens supporters and find out what some of their chants are. And whether they can be adapted and adopted by the Ospreys.
Yeah. So no random really this week, but random in that this is what my thought process as to what got me there with the chants. FYI, people who listened, they're also not going to pay 195 quid for a beef Wellington from Tom Kerridge at Marks and Spencer's.
Good.
Insane prices. I actually priced up how much it would be for John to make one. 55 quid. Do you know what I mean? 55 quid. So
We are the podcast
Before we
of the people, aren't we?
yeah, but before we leave the rugby chat entirely, I did do just a little call out to for reviews and comments on the weekend just gone, and True Osprey have said the boys never gave up for 1 minute to minute 80. That never die attitude still lives on from the Booth era, which I think is very true. That's probably Booth's legacy, isn't it? Just
nice.
that never say die attitude. And
Nice to
then
see pictures of him at Quinn's over the weekend as well.
yeah, very nice,
Yeah.
very nice. It is like
Really
seeing
nice.
your ex going out with somebody else, but generally
Yeah,
pleased for him.
one that got away.
And then our friends over at the Ospreys podcast said need to tighten up the set piece and we'll be sorted. Which I think, do you know what, is probably
Fair.
there's a lot in that. If we can win 50% more of our own scrums that we seem to do on the weekend, then that would just give us a much bigger platform to take some opportunities, which we're clearly
Yeah.
capable of. So, yeah, that's it for rugby chat. Anyway, that's all the input I've had
And
this week.
we're going to start doing that like we did again last year, putting out, post-match stuff and everything else. Because we love it when people send us questions and comments and everything else. We're kind of moving our recording schedule
Hmm.
towards a Monday. So the pod will move from coming out on a Wednesday to coming out on a Tuesday. And, we love it. I had a really great picture this week from Geraint of me fighting a Care Bear, which I thought was really, really cool. It was me fighting Grumpy Bear, which was quite cool. But, we do love our little chats, and we had a really nice comment on YouTube last week about it being like listening to your mates having a chat on the bus, and that's the feel that we want, and that's the vibe that we want.
Hmm.
We can give you stats, we can be boring, but we don't want to do that really.
Not us, is it?
We
want
it's
to talk
not
about £185 beef Wellingtons instead, don't we? So.
Yeah, and to be honest, I got ADHD, so I haven't got that in me. Like,
I mean, I do that, but I do it for my own pleasure.
do you love a spreadsheet though, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I
do as well.
I've been charting my tortoise's growth for the last like 6 or 7 years. I've got a lovely exponential curve that's now starting to plateau at the age of about 7 or 8.
He's
Yeah.
still a baby though in tortoise years, isn't he?
Oh God, yeah. He's just starting to say his first words.
I'd absolutely love a tortoise. I've always wanted one.
Yeah. Well, he'll outlive me. He'll be a family heirloom that I have to hand over to my grandkids
Your
or
kids,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've already given him
laugh.
an appropriate name for
What's his
that
name?
eventuality. It's Uncle Iroh, which is a
Uncle
character
Iroh.
from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the guys with the blue
Yes,
arrows on their head.
indeed.
So I just love the idea of my future grandkids calling this 100-plus-year-old tortoise Uncle Iroh because it'll just really suit them. Just needs to grow into it.
Oh, I just love it. Absolutely just love it. That's my kind of pet.
Yeah.
I love Lottie. We've got matching claws and everything, but I would literally be like Dr. Dolittle if I was allowed. Like I would have all sorts of animals. Like John always says to me, I can't take you anywhere because we'd have to frisk you as you're leaving because you would just try and steal everything, which I would. I would literally love it. We dropped my friend Ian home on last whatever night after the sports evening, and they've got urban foxes around by him, and we saw 2 babies. And I was like to John, stop! He's like, absolutely fucking not. They've got rabies. Because I would have happily gone out and be like, oh. So I've got it. I would potentially. I pet a fucking gator if I thought it wouldn't take my fingers off.
I'll jump in as the podcast's conservationist there and interject and just say that there's no rabies in the UK. It's eradicated in the UK.
Yes.
So pet as many foxes as you want.
I'd love one. I got to be honest. There's no, if anybody looked at my TikTok or my Instagram or anything, they would be like, it's literally Bob's Burgers, Muppets, raccoons, capybaras, and foxes. And I follow this wildlife girl who rescues foxes and stuff in America. I'm like, oh my God, you've got the best life and the best job ever. Like, I've got one particular TikTok that I love, which if I'm having a bad day, I watch, which is dogs being dramatic. I love it. I'll have to share it with you all because it genuinely makes me smile. Like, one, nothing really happens to him. He just falls over his own feet, and he's so dramatic. He thinks he's been shot, and he's like, it's literally like he's been shot. It just cheers me up no end. I just think we'd all be happier if we just had pets. Like, I don't get people who don't like pets. I don't trust them. Like, you tell me you don't like cats or dogs or whatever, I'm thinking you're a serial killer and I don't want to be your friend. So I'm like, we can't be friends if you don't like animals. I'm not there, like.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's really weird. But that is us for this week. All the usual, like, comment, share, subscribe. Even if you hate it, subscribe, just so you can hate on us. Share, even if you don't like it. And just get involved, you know. Got a nice game coming up on Friday now. But you'll be back next week. We'll be on our socials. Mark obviously won't be on his socials on Friday night, but I will because I got Prem, thanks to John Boy. He's back in the good books. And that is us. Did you notice I got some Welsh in on my radio Wales thing?
Yes.
I don't know if I said it right,
it was very well done.
Very impressive, yeah.
Yes.
Was it good?
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting close to our Welsh pod episode, aren't we, by the end of the season, maybe?
It's finally sunk in when Rod says, I'm line of Welsh at the end. It's osmosis, it's getting in there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to steal that off you. I'll continue with my thing. But have a good week, everyone. Fingers crossed for some more bonus points on Friday.
Yeah.
We're setting a 10th on the table. As he has said, the only way is up. So, out.
I'm line of Grail.
I'm line of Grail.